Oops. Can't help it. This is annoying me. You get to a point where it's like you want it to be perfect. It's not going to happen today. Okay.
Well, you know, it's what we live with.
Oh, I've lived with a lack of perfection for a long time.
That's right. Perfection is a road, not a destination, my friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get started. Here we go. I'm just going to go straight to the guest shot. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Good morning. How are you? How's it going? All right. Oh, there's silence? Why is there silence? Hold on. No, that's not. Okay, yes, there's... Oh, I see, because the stream music wasn't coming through to them. It was just playing to us because I muted it so we could talk. And now we've got sound. Everything's fine. We're here. It's all good.
Can you hear me?
We're fine. Yes. Oh, yes. We're all good. Everybody's good. And Cliff Schechter, ladies and gentlemen, from Cliff's Edge on the U and the Tube. And like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show across the board. A rising tide lifts all media boats. And he and I are both looking to cut into the disenfranchised Alex Jones viewers who feel like maybe, just maybe, he's been bullshitting them this whole time. I feel like
it's hard to believe. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like there's a nut to be cracked there. I feel like that is a gold, a vein of gold that is yet to be mined, right? Well,
he is a nut who already has been cracked, and that's nice sure. Because when you make conspiracies up about little kids not being killed, I think I love that video of him crying. It may be a screensaver for me or something of that nature.
Oh my God.
It made me come. Actually, I think I'll make it my ring on my phone.
Yeah, if there's such a thing called as hate fap, that would be it. Because
what's cool is you can use it for all sorts of occasions too. Be like, "How's Donald Trump's campaign going?" And then just play that video of Donald Trump's crime.
Right.
It fits everywhere. So
yes. Lots going on since we last spoke across the board. Now, I think the primary one that you and I will be discussing, I have no doubt this morning, is my prediction. A little while ago, probably, I think it was, a year ago I said this, and it was when he launched his campaign, I was like, he's a mess. This is going to get, because I was watching all of his rallies. But about 5 months ago, he did a couple of slip ups, and literally it's, as John Fugelsang will call it, 5 what the fucks ago. Where I don't even remember which one it was in particular, because there's so many of them now. But he said he had one weird brain fart, right in line with all the other brain farts he has. And I was like, this is the least of it. It made the news a little bit. Right. And I was like, this is, between now and the election, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And ladies and gentlemen,
you knew it.
Yes.
Right?
After this weekend, I rest my case.
Well, go ahead. No. Yeah. There are two things that seem to be very clear. One is he already was a crazy person and was only going to be aging, as we all do, over the next year as he campaigned. And every year at that point in time is a pretty serious issue when you're as old as he is. You have the even though he said he has a beautiful beach body, one of his brain farts in his speech the other day, he talked about his beautiful beach body. He really said that.
Oh, God.
He eats like a 12-year-old. He doesn't exercise. He believes it makes him stronger not to exercise. I don't think he really believes that, but he said that.
Well,
bullshit.
here's the truth. So this is a genuine thing. Like, I keep trying to tell people this because it sounds fantastical, but it is absolutely the truth. At some point, either someone was being funny or specific about Jim Fix, the jogger guy who died in Central Park, that there was this theory floating around that you are born with a limited number of heartbeats, and exercise uses up your extra heartbeats by overdoing it. Like you should save those heartbeats or whatever, because you bank them, and in your life you have 16,755,312 heartbeats, and on the 313th you drop dead. Trump,
and you know what the danger is? If you don't save up those heartbeats, right after you've walked out of the studio in Virginia filming the moon landing, you might fall off the edge of the earth before your heart stops beating. So there's that too.
Yeah. Well, in this particular case, that's okay. In this particular case, he believes you run out of heartbeats. So he doesn't exercise because he believes he will use up heartbeats, and he thinks this is what's going to keep him alive longer. This is absolutely true. This is what he actually believes. If anybody ever pinned him down in an interview, he would dodge around it. But if if he was on one of these bro podcasts and they asked him, this is what he would say. He would go, very respected people say this. Like, he would go into that shit.
Oh, they're smart people.
Because he does believe it.
Big Macs don't use up heartbeats, clearly.
But he does stimulants.
Right. Well, but I was going to say, you combine the diet, the lack of exercise, and then the snorting of the Adderall and whatever combination of drugs that he does. And different people have said different things, but I've never seen definitive proof. I know what's his name? Kassler has said a number of things, and I don't know him personally, so I don't know what's true and what's not. Not that I just don't know. But the Adderall thing seems to be pretty much, many people have said that crushes it up, and many people witnessed it.
Yeah.
So he's abusing drugs.
To take the edge off.
Right. He's enraged all the time, and he never gets any sleep. So these are all things that your doctor will tell you are, quote, not good for you. So another year in your 70s or 80s, and where is he now? He's late 70s. Is he 80? He's on his way to 80. I think he's 79.
Yeah, late 70s.
Then that's a time when you knew over the next year, as you smartly knew, that it could only get worse. But then I would add in that he has this extra kind of thing that when he's enraged, he loses it even more, right? When there's stuff going on. And you couldn't have fully predicted the Khamala people would embrace what what some of us who've been in this business a while and some of us who just are entertainers, I think like you, have been saying, please mock them, please go at them, please. It's a psychological war. It's psychological warfare, as I've said forever. Part of it is knocking them off their game. The Republicans always do this to us, and we act like we're better than it.
Right.
And in different phases, we've gotten better, but Kamala's campaign has pulled it together fully. I mean, you know, she had the airplane flying over the Alabama game with the banner saying Trump punted on the second debate because he's a coward or whatever it said.
Right.
You know, they are constantly mocking him, constantly insulting him, constantly getting him enraged. And that can only lead him to do things like last night where he started saying, or was it yesterday or the day before, he started saying something about a film or a movie. Oh, they could play it in the movie. I don't know who the actors would be. Some of these guys are thin. I want someone strong. And everybody's like,
oh my God. They have no muscle content.
Yes, they have no muscle content, but I don't even know who the fuck he was talking about. What movie? What, like, did he make that clear? What the hell what that even referred to? Or is that just sort of floating out of his mind? Because I didn't know. I mean, maybe I only saw a section of that, but clearly there are a couple of young ladies forced probably to hold, you know, Make America Great Again signs sitting behind him who were laughing because at that point he was making, there was 0 sense being made. And you're right. You were right to predict that. And my thought always was, which is why I knew she was going to crush him in the debate, is that she was willing to bait him and say the things that would get him enraged and throw him off. Right. And that's why you knew he'd perform worse on stage. He'd perform worse in debates.
Plus he grows into he even said in this last, I forget, he did 5 events. That's also, they're wearing him the fuck out too. He is insisting on, and he obviously, needs, crowd energy to sustain himself the same way the Skeksis ate the little, elf, the Gelfling life force in the Dark Crystal, right?
It's the only thing that crowd size and ratings are the only 2 things that exist to him. So especially when people start leaving, and he's seen it. He actually commented on the other day. It's like, see, they're getting up. They're not really leaving, though. Well, obviously they're just walking around in a fucking circle. Yeah. Well, I mean, go ahead.
So he made a point of saying they said they took the bait and whatever, the she baited, but she didn't trap me. I didn't walk into a trap. That she can't trap me, but she's not smart enough to trap.
He always says the same word 14 times.
I wasn't trapped.
I wasn't trapped. She didn't trap me.
You're like, motherfucker, you literally are trapped by the idea that you were trapped. Like that, not only are you taking her bait to go after, the laser pointer where she wants you to talk, but also you're going, like the news saying it was a trap that she did. They're just describing what she did and the fact that he fell for it, and he fell for their trap.
Right, they should start playing
with that shit.
Alice Chain's Man in a Box when he comes out at all of his events.
I was so this morning I'm thinking about song parodies and not going too far into Rocky Mountain Mike territory, but there was a Vance in the box kind of idea about abortion access. This is, by the way, I want to show this if I could. I should put this in here. This is Trump talking to. Here we go. Move this down. Move page, you silly thing. There it is. There's always a mild delay in my mouse versus video situation. This is Trump talking at this event in I forget which one, Pennsylvania. The one where he said Detroit, he referenced Pennsylvania by saying he said Philadelphia area, there's a lot of messing around with a lot of things here. Philadelphia, they're messing around with Detroit, they're messing around with with the idea being that seemingly he is thinking Detroit is in I guess he thinks it's in Pennsylvania. Or at least he doesn't think it's enough that to just deal with what's in the state. That's always true. Now, for a reason it's not, I can't understand. It's not allowing me to click on something. There's probably a menu open someplace that's not allowing me to. How sometimes your mouse goes it won't react to things.
It's annoying as hell.
Hang out for a second while it catches up to whatever the shit is going on. But effectively. During both of these rallies, I made the point watching this, the one in Warren, Michigan, which was right before this, that he's drunk. And I don't mean he's like buzzed on Adderall and benzos. I mean,
no. He's punch drunk at this point.
He is, well, and I also think.
Oh, you mean he's boozing
actually boozing. Yes, because of the like the just the nature of his being. He is at this point, and it is super fucking weird, but he is. Hold on, there we go. I'm gonna try and see. No, it just doesn't want to wake up anything. All right, it's just a dead mouse right now. We'll just live with it. But he, I don't know, like, people seem to go like, but he says he doesn't drink. He doesn't drink. He's never drank. Look, I've never drank in my life. I don't drink. I have never drank. Okay. There is a difference, though, as an observer of someone who never drinks and they, I don't know. The only option is that I can think of is that he found bourbon edibles, or he got into a pile of rotten fruit like a monkey in an old, like nature documentary where they're like, the gibbons will often eat the rotten apples, and then for 2 days they're like,
it's fermented, and
yes.
I don't know.
He says
definitely any of that is possible with him, right. Obviously, but I mean, again, just because he says something, not only does it not make it true,
right?
I'd say it makes it 2 out of 3 chance it's a lie.
Yes,
and I'm being generous. I mean, there's no connection between truth and what he says. So
right.
I don't know. I haven't heard people talking about seeing him drinking a lot. I haven't really, I haven't seen it, but I haven't gone searching for it. I mean,
right.
Whether it's true or not, who the hell knows? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling was watching this, it was very different from the kind of like manic shit we've seen from him before. It was very different. It was, it had a very different feel to it than, what? All right, Mouse, you are being weird. I guess I'm just stuck with this until my computer decides to wake up.
Maybe he got into some oxy or something.
Well, it could, yes.
He could have gotten into some downers that maybe shot himself on the ass with a horse tranquilizer. Who knows?
I wouldn't rule it out. But in all honesty, it was a very distinct difference between him and his kind of like sort of like jacked up regular Adderall self, and he was slurry, and he got into kind of like, when he started, I'll tell you what triggered it for me was when he started talking about the chart again. I love this chart, I want my chart or whatever. And he started, like, he does occasionally this kind of like weird kissy thing that's gross, but it's got an anger to it or whatever. This was different. This was him like a sloppy drunk. And then he goes from sloppy drunk to angry drunk over the course of the speech. But he was so slurring like that. It was.
So he basically sort of went through the average college night of, let's say, like a freshman in college, right? Where he started off sloppy drunk, but he ended up angry at the world. Right.
Yeah. Right. But in this process, in this like listening to him, it got worse over the course of this particular one, and at the Warren one, and then he goes to this one, and it seems like he was just drunk all day. He was just drunk all day, and everything, like he kept going further and further into this kind of like, I don't know, what are we even doing here?
Whoa.
I don't even know. Like,
you're my best friend, man. I love you.
Right. That's right. It had so much of that shit in it that it was like, it felt like a dead giveaway to me. It felt like, okay, something else is up here. And that to me says on the airplane, it's somebody just went, you're a little hyped up, buddy. Why don't you just have a gin fizz and settle down?
That's it, right?
And somebody, and one of his rich friends said, it's fine. Nobody needs to know. It's just us or whatever, but this will help. And then he was like, that wasn't too bad. And then he starts feeling good about it. And then by the time he fucking knows it, they're at the rally and he's drunk.
Yep.
That's what I think happened. To everybody who's like, he says he doesn't drink. He's a fucking liar. He lies about everything. He said he'd be faithful to all of his wives. He also says he won the last
election. So,
Right, yeah.
I would take what he says with a bit of a grain of salt.
Right. So that would be to me, that's the dead giveaway. That's just the consistently full of shit aspect of this whole thing. All right, I'm still trying to figure out. My mouse is not wireless, by the way, everybody. So everybody's going like, "Hell, maybe it's a wireless mic and you have to change the batteries." Nope. You know what has to happen? Pardon me, Cliff. Talk amongst yourselves. I think I've got to.
Well, hello everybody. I'm taking over Hal's show.
Yeah, temporarily while I unplug the mouse and plug it back in, which happens.
Ooh, the unplugging and plugging back in is always key.
Yeah.
The rebooting, man.
Yeah,
rebooting works on everything. I've often thought maybe they should try that with Trump's brain.
It can.
Unplug
now the
it,
mouse
plug it
moves,
back in. It
but it's not
hurt,
clicking.
Right?
So right. So that's the one aspect of it. This might be a Rob Glenn moment because, or it might be also that I just have too many goddamn windows open, which is entirely possible as well. And my computer just went, okay, the hell with you, and you're done now. And if that is the case, then before Tara comes on, I will have to like reboot my computer and have her come in second hour. So we'll be totally separate hours at that point. If I'm unable to do that, I'll say goodbye, and then I'll literally just push the button on my actual computer, and everything will go. And then I'll wait
hit the kill switch.
That's what'll happen. Although I'm still, again, stuff's going by. I just have no control over it right now, which is very fascinating. You know, it's a lesson in letting go and letting Russell Brand. Now, speaking of which. I don't know if you have seen this. By the way, people can see my mouse moving around and doing literally nothing, like clickety click.
I can. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just nothing. So that's why it moves, but it won't. Whatever. But there is there's out there in Trump peripheral world, there is a panic attack happening. Everybody is looking for the next grift, right? He's going down. So if you can't, attach your skis to his and your line to his speedboat, or the boat is slowing down so much that it can't keep you going, what's the follow-up, right? For what do you do?
I think if they were smart, what I would be doing. Let's just say I were a scummy MAGA hoe. Yeah. I don't know if that's actually PC these days, so I apologize. I was talking about guys, though, so maybe that makes it a little bit better. But if I was one of these scummy MAGA-ites, what I would probably do is find everything nearby that you can carry, and go have him sign it.
Right.
Put his tell him it's like an official proclamation or something. Like lie to him about what these things are. Get him to sign tons of crap, because you could just then go to like eBay or, frankly, Truth Social or
right,
whatever those other dumb ones. I've forgotten the names of all of them by now. Gab, is that still out there? I don't know.
Parler.
Whatever the Nazi, whatever the stuff is out there, you can probably go to these places and you can probably sell crap with Trump's signature on it for lots of money, because all of these idiots. So I mean, that would be my. If I were a scumbag who were working alongside Donald Trump and knew that this ship was headed for an iceberg, that's what I would be doing.
Agreed. So so far, apparently there's a glitch. I tell you what it is. I know what's happening now. I'm being hacked by the Russians. That's what's happening. They've broken into what my mouse will do, and it will only do like one of three things that it's supposed to do. Like this part doesn't work, the mouse part doesn't work, but one of the buttons does. The scrolling thing maybe works if I put it right over this one, and there you go. See?
Damn.
But it won't actually click anything. That's fun.
Putinite bastards.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, bastards is right. And can I grab? Like I can't grab the. Damn it! I love it. It's fantastic. And it won't.
Hal's trying to let go,
page.
but he still can't fully let go.
I can't. No, I cannot. Look at that. Won't even let me retry. That's so fun. But it won't let me not grab the page itself. So what the shit? PCs are nuts. These
are all the reasons that I'm going to be starting a live stream, and I'm scared to do anything initially beyond like just talking to people, because I know that everything will crash on me.
Yes. Well, that's always the issue. I'm never afraid to get out over my skis with this shit. But apparently the right button and
Well,
the
that's
left button
true. I don't really.
died.
I'm not scared of it as much as I don't want to promise too much and not deliver. You've already given people 10,000 shows. If I do the
that's true.
first one, I'd like the first one to go okay. So I'm going to keep that one.
Yeah, but where's the fun in
relatively
that,
decent.
honestly? Now I'm
All right,
actually
maybe I'll just take some huge risks and see if I can't play some war games, launch a nuke or something.
right. The now my brain is in the why don't I just need to plug a different. I need a different mouse. Right, like you just pull the mouse and plug in a different one.
That mouse has betrayed you.
But the only one I know of that's a plug-in mouse is all the way upstairs. So that's, not that I'm not worried that you couldn't handle talking for that length of time, Cliff, because you, like I, have the same issue. But
I can bullshit forever.
Yeah, I know. We're both. It's a masterful talent we both have. And by the way, you know why? It's because we know we're not actually bullshitting. And all kidding aside,
that's a good point.
Like, when you have so much shit to talk about, when we have so much stuff that we're talking about, I never feel like I'm going to run out of material.
No, I mean it's we decide to go with this stuff, but there's any number of things, right? There's the Jeff Flake endorsement the other day, which is kind of a big deal. Mormon from Arizona, second highest Mormon. Well, one of the highest Mormon populations per capita. That's kind of a big deal.
Right.
Maybe it convinces Mitt Romney to get his head out of his arse and do something. Maybe not. But point being, that's a swing group that is moving towards Democrats, the Mormons, which used to be solid Republican, and that could change things in the vote. So we can talk about that. Mm-hmm. We can talk about various activities of Vlad the Impaler. Over the past couple of days.
You'll not be surprised that I have pages that I wanted to go to in my browser that I'm showing you about specifically that, like the collapse of the Russian economy and all that kind of stuff. Yep. The biggest, one of the things that stuck out to me recently was, I'm sure you saw that Russell Brand praying with Jordan Peterson shit this morning and him baptizing people.
So he's now he's not like a born again Christian theoretically or some crap.
Yeah, well, and by the way, same system.
I saw him with Tucker Carlson praying. Was maybe Jordan Peterson was there too, or maybe I just saw him praying with Tucker. But I mean, what a fucking the people that start off on the left and end up in that place. Can we just, whenever they eventually are gone, study their brains for science? Taibbi and the rest, what? I mean, I think we'll just find the part of your brain that grifts will be enormous. I don't know, but.
I have to say, hold on, maybe we might have a solution. Could we? No.
It's sort of embarrassing when your whole shtick becomes I'm very anti-war, and then you go and you defend Putin and try to make that.
Yeah, it's a bit
sense.
weird. It's super fucking odd.
I hate U.S. imperialism, but I love Russian imperialism.
Yeah, Russian colonialism, straight up. Again, it's not even beyond like empire, which is. There's an important distinction I don't think people bother to make between colonialism and empire. Empire is satellite control over cultures. You don't necessarily impose your culture over them. It might be religious, you might inject something there, but you don't necessarily, you kind of control their government, you don't wipe out their language, you put your puppet in. Right. And you control it from a distance. Think England and India they taught everybody English, but they didn't try to eliminate the Hindi religions or any of that stuff.
France did a lot of that in Algeria and Syria and those kinds of places.
Whereas colonization is about wiping out whatever's there and starting from scratch, right? And that's what Russia is doing with Ukraine. They're openly talking about it. Remove the Ukrainian language. Don't let anybody speak it. Don't let people believe they're Ukrainian, right?
Well, they've said they don't believe Ukraine exists as an entity.
Which is how you start that shit. Yeah. Yeah. So
and there already were people on RT getting, who the other day getting a little bit more bold, if you will, and talking about how Poland would be next. So for all of you Polish Americans out there, just know that, and for anybody who understands that that would be a violation of NATO, and that would drag us towards war. These idiots that sort of claim to be pro-Putin but pro-peace, as if, let's just say we were as pathetic and we were as evil as they are, and we're willing to say, sure, you can have Ukraine. We know you're not going to attack anywhere else. You can have it, which, by the way, I would never say. But let's just say we did.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just say we were as callous and cruel and despicable as they are. Putin has shown his vision. He doesn't even want the Soviet Empire. When you talk about colonialism, he's looking back to the czars. He thinks even land they lost back then should be there. So, I mean, there's no stopping in Ukraine, right?
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Let's see. I'm going to try and... Oh, there we go. I'm trying to use the keyboard shortcuts to close a page, and I don't remember how to... Let's see. I think it's Control Escape. There we go. Maybe that'll do it. Hold on. Stop now. Nope. Such a silly thing. It's always something. Aha. Go away, you silly thing. Closing that window. Close all those. Close them all. Close the windows. Why would it not do it, you bastard? All right. I'm going to try all these. There we go. Dink. Yeah. It's just not reacting. There we go. Let's just open a whole other page while we're at it. But it might actually, not now. It might actually let me go. Hey, now I have control of my guest again. There you go.
Oh my gosh, look at that. You have re-established control. Everything's okay in Hal's world. He can relax. He's not gonna go nuts. Start punching the screen.
But no, I'm not. Well, ish.
No ketchup on the walls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good.
That's right. So, yeah, That's it. It's just, it's a minor thing, and it's okay. Do
you need to meditate for a little bit? Pull some of that John Hamm shit from Mad Men?
I really don't. I really do not. Yeah. But I will say that I honestly think that there's a hack in Twitter that it's like if you bring up your Twitter page, something gnarly is going to happen. It's just
would anybody be shocked in the slightest by that at this point?
Not. Yes. All right. Now that I have wrested back control of my show from the internet gods, the point I was trying to make about Russell Brand and his bullshit Christian conversion, which reeks of a dude who finds Jesus in a Texas jail. And, the old joke being there are plenty of guys named Jesus in a Texas jail, right?
Right. Or sees him in a grilled cheese sandwich somewhere, his image.
Yeah. He was in... I saw Elvis at a piece of toast, and I knew he was a king. But in particular, he and Jordan Peterson has gotten into this hyper-religious thing again, pushing a certain form of very monetizable Christianity. I would like to say none of them are becoming fucking Methodists or Lutherans, right? None of these have converted to being a Methodist minister, right? Or a Lutheran minister.
And the beauty is you've got these days. I mean, it used to be that you had to build out all your infrastructure, your mega churches, to be a scumbag like Joel Osteen.
Oh my God! So the investment on being a televangelist, yeah.
Yeah. Now you just have Rumble and YouTube, and you don't really. Hell, if you just use the right-wing platforms to grift, you don't even need to build out any infrastructure. You can do it just sit in a basement somewhere and demagogue about religion and what Jesus really meant and how Jesus won't let you in unless you stop all of the immigrants who. Of course, the New Testament referred to as talked about the Samaritan and helping people on the side of the road. But now we hate them all because we're reverse Jesus is what we are, and we can say anything, and they'll just bullshit their way through. Hey, look what I found! My grilled cheese sandwich looks like Jesus. I'll sign it.
Once you start calling about the end of the world. Once you start talking about the end of the world, when it says in Matthew that no man shall know the hour nor the day, not even the Son will know, only the Father in heaven will know the time of the second coming. And once you start going, but I really do think I've got it figured out, then all bets are off in how much you can bullshit about the entirety of the religion. Because if you basically can supersede Jesus's awareness of when he's coming back and go, I know better than he does about that, what's the other shit? Like, maybe you can be a rich murderer. Of
course, and you've
maybe
also rejected every law, every law that he set out, or every, hey, I'm going to go help the lepers. Fuck the lepers. Hey, I'm going to go help the least among us because I should treat everyone as I treat them. Nope, we treat them like
fucking
shit because we're cool MAGA assholes.
Yeah.
Hey, help the guy on the side of the highway. No, we're going to fucking drive through a puddle on purpose and splash him, then kick him out of the country. I mean, it's just one thing after another that he said that they ignore. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Hey, let's give tax cuts to the guys who a camel can fit through the eye of a needle before they'll get into heaven. Let's give tax cuts to them.
Right.
I mean, it just they what I find so hilarious is for such anti-Semites, they really like the Old Testament a fuck of a lot more. They're all under the fire and brimstone of the Old Testament, and enough of their own people don't read any of this stuff, so they've fooled them into thinking that that's their Bible. Not the one where Jesus talks about love and compassion and acceptance and helping people who are less fortunate and all the stuff that they refuse to do. It's kind of amazing. But Fugelsang can speak, I'm sure, much more intelligently to all this.
So fucking telling. So this is him leading...
For new, voluntary unity, not imposed top-down unity, Lord. Lord, I ask that we be brought together...
By the way... Wait a second. I didn't even get to hear the prayer. So, according to this, he says Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand close out their joint speech by leading 25,000 people in the Lord's Prayer. Okay, that wasn't the Lord's Prayer. I'm just saying. No,
you don't remember that part in the Lord's Prayer about top-down unity?
No, there was something about, le pain quotidien, our daily bread. That, and by the way, the rest.
It's a good place to eat sometimes, too. When you're
it is. It's the original Chick-fil-A in that regard. The le pain quotidien was based on the idea of our daily bread. Give us this day our daily bread. It was a prayerful. And here's the thing about le pain quotidien. You don't have to know. They don't push it on anybody. They started as it was a reference in a nice way. And if you come to that on yourself, that's actually how it's supposed to fucking work. Instead of, we're Chick-fil-A and we ain't open on Sundays because we's got to repent about the hookers and blow. And then on Monday, we're all clean, man. It's like Jesus is basically the toilet paper of sin. That's right. It is. Our church is the equivalent of flush toilet.
Go on. You got extra time on. Go on over to Hobby Lobby. Oh shit, they're closed too.
They're closed too. Everybody closed. Everybody should be closed on Sunday. So you sit at home and listen to Dad yell at Mom during football. Listen.
For new, voluntary unity, not imposed top-down unity, Lord. Lord, I ask that we be brought together in these principles under your name. I pray for America, and if I have your permission, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end with the Lord's Prayer. Just do the version that you know.
Just doing the version, that you know. Which means the version he knows. If I mix anything up, it's because I really don't know it. I don't fucking care.
Lord,
by the way,
I'd like some fish and chips right now.
Right.
And sometimes when I walk through the valley of death, I'd like a pint of Nuki Brown. And is that it? Is that it?
I think no. I think it goes something like this: Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all have Porsches. I must make amends. I don't much like coffee, but I can pretend. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? That's the version you know. Meanwhile, fucking Jordan Peterson in his Two-Face suit is nodding on his knee on the side. And first of all, both these motherfuckers can piss off. Russell's British. We fought a war with these motherfuckers for a reason. Go clean up your monarchy before you start telling us about top-down fucking government. And Jordan Peterson...
maybe undo that whole Brexit thing, because that kind of was a disaster for you.
Yeah, kind of fucking stupid. And absolutely a puppeted thing by the Russians. Absolutely. One of their best between Trump and
that's
Brexit,
up there with
it's
Trump,
hard to
because
decide.
they were behind Nigel Farage and the billionaire there who was funding the whole goddamn thing, and So
like, both of these motherfuckers aren't American. So fuck right off, both of them. But secondly, this idea that like, Lord bless us with this not top down, like, you do realize the hierarchy of the Trinity / monarchical system, right? You do realize that that's as top down as it fucking gets. And that those that have been blessed with the ability to pass the message on are the second tier in that top down system. And those that have, the Lord has given us money so we can throw an event like this, so we can stay on the stage and direct to you what the Lord really meant when he said this. He didn't really mean what you're reading. What he meant, I think, and I think for you, how is this any fucking different? How is this?
Not. It's just listen to me.
So gross.
It's sort of the Trump thing. I'm Jesus, so listen to me. The thing has he claimed any specific denomination, or is he just sort of is he even trying to pretend that he found some specific
Church
type
of Epstein.
Jesus?
No,
Church of what?
I'm kidding. Church of Epstein. Brand 48 was accused of rape, sexual assault, and emotional abuse by 4 women. One of them said she was 16, the age of consent in the UK, and Brand was 30. They began a relationship that included abuse and sexual assault. He barged into her house and raped her when she said no without protection, and she responded to it. He's a terrible, terrible person. He's got a rape charge in Los Angeles that's going forward. And all of a sudden, you just find Jesus. And you notice Trump is the same one. My whole life, and I'm sure you've heard this, like all these like serial killers, fucking Jeffrey Dahmer found Christ in jail.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And then he got to meet him because I think the other people in jail with him were not fans.
Yeah, right. That when that started, federal ban on the death penalty. And the only way you could get out in a lot of these red states was to find God. If you found God, the people on the parole board were gullible as fucking shit. They would just, that was the one thing. You're like, okay, boom. And it worked for like, mostly like armed robbers and con artists and people like that were the first to go. You know, they got paroled right away because of that shit. I mean, if you said, I regret what I did and I would never do it again, and I've shown over to, I work in the fucking library and I volunteer, they let us do this outreach work and I build houses for the homeless and they're like, fuck you, 10 more years. But if you're like, the Lord has touched my soul, they're like, out you go. And so that started this trend in jail, which became a meme, became a joke of finding Jesus in jail and all this kind of stuff. Or now that has leapt into right before you go to jail. Find him before. Maybe the jury itself.
Even better, that low, well, he's a good Christian. Now he mass murdered 47 people, but hell, he's found Christ. I think we'll only put him away for 5 years.
The whole point is, aren't these rehabilitation centers? See, he sounds rehabilitated to me, and the trial's not even over. It's like fucking Alex Jones. He's like, the other day, and by the way, I need to buy that desk, people. We got to figure out how to get me the Infotainment Wars desk. The InfoWars, the big, stupid gamer desk, has got to be for sale, and I can't believe anybody else wants it.
Just steam clean that fucker if you get it, right? Oh, my
God. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely going to go through I'm going to drive it through a car wash on a flatbed.
Like 14 times. I mean, yeah, I would, seriously.
His defense...
You may want to use some of that delousing material, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
His defense is, and I'll have to rebuild the section of it that they cut out for his stomach so that he could sit close to it. You know what I mean? I can put that panel back in. But
they probably have a part below that his stomach drops into that you can just remove, like a net.
Yeah, it's just got like one of those things they used to carry a pregnant elephant in
exactly
in Smokey and the Bandit 2, whatever.
Yeah.
So the lady gonna have a baby. She can be moved for 24 hours, make it to 12. But in all honesty, like he started crying during his talk about this. His defense of himself was, I apologize to those people during the fucking trial, you dumb motherfucker. And at a certain point, I gotta say, you don't get points for being repentant after you've been charged.
Well, and after you've destroyed people's lives.
Yes.
It's like, I don't give two shits, and he'll never apologize anyhow, but if J.D. Vance were to apologize to Springfield now, he's destroyed these people's lives
Right.
in a town much like the town he grew up in. Not in Appalachia, by the way, that was a lie by him, but still an Ohio town, like Middletown, where he grew up, where they're just regular folks living their lives, you know, and it's in the end, he tortured with what he did. Haitians,
Yes.
he tortured other folks there. Their schools are shut down, their restaurants are shut down, whole swaths of their town were shut down, and they were scared of being killed. And that fucking Klan and Proud Boys and whoever were marching through town. That's because of J.D. Vance. Well, the same deal here in Newtown. These people whose little babies, whose little children, you know, were fucking. Some of them were unrecognizable afterwards. It's so disgusting that we didn't ban assault rifles. But I won't even get into all that whole thing. The fact that he denied that shit happened, that he said those were crisis actors. I mean, again, I did work, you know, with Everytown for Gun Safety. I know some of these folks quite personally because I worked with them when they were spokespeople for it. And that just makes me like it would make me enraged anyhow. But these people that lost their 6 and 7-year-olds and who were shot to pieces because of the shit that this guy said that helped give Republicans cover to not pass sane gun laws, and then he denies it afterwards. He can apologize 1,000 fucking times and never make up for that. These people got death threats afterwards, these parents, after they lost their children, because people saw in Alex Jones that they were just crisis actors. So they were getting calls and getting emails and getting death threats. That's the kind of piece of shit he is, and there's nothing, I don't give a fuck if he says it before the trial, during the trial, or after the trial. There is literally nothing he can do to make up for that. Nothing.
Yeah, and even if they did, why would you believe them?
Yeah.
Because
there's no reason to believe any shit he says.
Yes.
Oh, I said I was sorry, so I should be forgiven. I'm sure that was the stance he's taken with all sorts of people on the left who've done things that he doesn't like. I mean, they're also fucking, they're so full of shit. But I mean, that's the authoritarianism works that way. People don't seem to get. It's not about just the fact that we're going to tell you what to do. It's about openly and flagrantly not doing that yourself, right? It's that I'm better than you, so you have to behave this way and follow these laws. Right. I can have all the hookers and blow and abortions and anything that I tell you can't do, I can do all I want because I am different than you. You're below me.
Right. I remember one of my favorite Bobcat Goldthwait bits was about when Swaggart got busted and he was, he was caught basically, I think Bobcat called it a naked fire drill because he would sit in a car and the hooker would be naked and he would drive around like, I'm Jimmy Swaggart, she's naked, like that. And then he would, get out and run around and get back in the car. And the idea was she would run around the car and get back in the car. And it was like this big, like, oh my God, I'm almost getting caught. Like that's what it took for him to get a fucking boner. And like he goes, you haven't sinned against me. You're just a bad consumer. You pay all that money for a hooker and you're just having her do laps around the vehicle. Like that was the essence of the gag, in that regard.
Yeah. But I mean, again, that's part and parcel. We've seen it again, right? With Mark Robinson. Right. We've seen it again. I mean, in this past week, we saw it again with that asshole Project 2025 guy, Kevin Roberts, who fucking killed his dog, which again is becoming a pattern with these people that they kill pets constantly. Gee, I wonder if they're sociopaths. Hey, let's go out to the gravel pit, right? I mean, the stuff that has come out about them in the past week is again just the same old shit. They can do whatever they want, and again, it's not even that they can; they should be. There are betters. The way they have, if you watch The Handmaid's Tale, it's like, oh, women are getting their mouths stapled shut, but they've got their Jezebels clubs to go to because they're different. They're better than the rest of us. They can do whatever they like. Lord doesn't judge them. Lord just judges us. Right.
And even when they, again, sort of the Alan Watts idea that the modern Christianity is the moral equivalent of a flush toilet, that that every Sunday they start from scratch. So I don't even know what you're fucking bothering me about. That was 2 days ago, Cliff. Come on, man.
That's exactly.
That's not even my sin anymore. I gave it up to the Lord on Sunday. I mean, I did it again Monday evening, and I'm gonna definitely. I hope I don't die between now and Saturday night. But that's where they live, and there is this I've always found like Trump has entered into this prurient like tent revival preacher mode that he tried it on like and failed in 2020, and he's going to fail again because it's not a system that reaches most people, but it definitely appeals to the maggot crowd that they show up. If anybody went to like, I don't know if what your church upbringing was like in the Kentucky, Southern Ohio area, but there are a lot of these like roam around preachers that come to your church, and they'll give these kind of temp sermons a couple of weeks in a row to give your preacher a break or something, and they'll live in the preacher's house and sleep with his wife oftentimes and then hit the road again. They're basically the road comics of preaching, right? And they come in, and the reality is, they all have a past of like the wine and the demon weed and the cocaine. And I was arrested in a hotel in Memphis with a midget, a donkey, and a bag of snakes. Right. That's like the
ultimate get out of jail free card, literally, as you said, but also spiritually. It was like, none of that matters anymore because I found Jesus.
Right.
Yes, I did. I ran over that woman. I was drunk and she's dead. But, I found Jesus, and that makes it all okay. I mean, that's what's going on. But you're not asking the best person, I got to be honest with you, Hal, because A, I grew up in New York City, and B, I come from a family of lapsed Jews. So I'm not sure if I'm the best guy on this topic, but my wife is from here.
Hey, lapsed Jews will roll through rando churches more often than Christians will change churches sometimes. They might, peek in there and see what the hubbub is about, bub. But I will say that most of those preachers, if you watch the sermon itself for content, not the ultimate message at the end, because there's this big kind of sales hook at the end. It's kind of like every Alice in Chains song after 1994 was a jingle for heroin. It was like, try heroin, it's my favorite thing, right? That's basically what all the songs were. And there's a certain point where
in that way.
Yeah,
because Lane Staley was having a rough run of it. Yeah,
I know, and I fucking love him, and I miss him, and it makes me angry, and so I try to joke about the edges of it. But
I listen to Nutmeg here and there, and almost start crying, and then I go back. Oh my god,
yeah. I stay away. Like it. I mean, it makes your heart jump. That's what a waste. Yet another reason why I don't do drugs, kids. So, but when it comes to these preachers, 95% of the sermon, and this occurred to me when I was a 13-year-old sitting in church listening with 13-year-old ears, that this is just a series of dirty stories. And at the end, he lets you off the hook by going, Jesus saved me from all this stuff. But in your mind, this dude is painting a fucking picture. And so with
dirty,
Trump,
don't forget, there's some good violent stories in there too.
Oh yeah,
to get just to get you excited. They want to get you excited with and then they oppose every rated R movie.
Reno, just to watch him die.
Watch him die, exactly.
Right. So that's But I would sit there as, in church going, this guy's just telling me like how awful he actually is. But he's got this get out of shithole free card in his life. Yep. And Trump is doing the same fucking thing. And he's lapsed into it so much that that overtime thing. I wanted to play that real quick for those that didn't hear it.
Well,
where he was
that's the other get out of jail free card is partisan politics on the right. In addition to finding Jesus, if you find the Republican Party, again, it's chicken or the egg. All the scumbags are attracted to MAGA, but all the scumbags, because Donald Trump is there, but all the scumbags are, like the guy who just took a picture with a family that wasn't his family and claimed it was his. And weird, crazy shit like this that normal people don't do. All this in a week, the Kevin Roberts thing, the Mark Robinson thing, they just, because they're all fake. And in the end, it's all as long as you can hide behind either religion or partisan politics, people have to be like, okay, well, now we have to treat them equally, Republicans and Democrats.
So Tara isn't with us yet, so we're not. I don't feel like she's being bumped right now. We're hanging around. Cliff's Edge is the show on YouTube. Check it out. Subscribe. Cliff Schechter. There it is. If you're not a guitar player, it might be hard to spell, but for those of us. It's really fucking easy. Those are the strap locks I use, by the way. Schechter's strap locks are the shit.
I need to find the person way back in the family who clearly invented that and see if I've got any claim to any of it.
I met a new I have a new family member that I met, a distant cousin who showed up, who's in our chat room oftentimes, who brought her genealogy of where she's related to me via Sparks. And Tara, I see Tara waiting in the wings, and I'm sure she'll have something to say about this too. So let me play this line about overtime from Trump.
And you know, it's going to lead to great things. A lot of people don't give. I know a lot about overtime. I'd hated to give overtime. I hated it. I'd get other people, I shouldn't say this, but I'd get other people in, I wouldn't pay. I hated. This is going to lead to a lot more. I think it's going to be economically positive, but I'm not even doing it for that reason. I'm doing it because like the no tax on overtime, it's something so good.
Notice he doesn't even have a reasoning behind any of it. He's like, I'm going to do it. It's so
good.
Well,
I don't know what that meant, except for he didn't like giving overtime because he doesn't like paying people. What was the rest of that shit?
That's it. That was all of it. That's the whole fucking thing.
Because the rest of it's just a tangle of a lot, like, you know, and the taxes and the paying that and the blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what the fuck are you even talking about? If you don't want to give people overtime, they're not going to pay taxes on overtime because you're not fucking giving it to them. I don't.
Yeah.
How people listen to this asshole.
Yeah, it is stunning. And here's the thing, like I said, it's now, there's this apocryphal aspect of his background where he was this great businessman who had his thumb on the scale, and he could work the tax code and all this stuff. And the reality is he just hadn't been caught. It's like, I was the greatest bank robber ever because I only went to the banks that had blind security guards, right? And then one day I picked a fucking bank and the guy's not wearing sunglasses and I shouldn't have gone in there, and bam, right? It's at a certain point. You know, it's like when the press.
But he played on.
So masterful.
Growing up in New York, he just played on the media's need for a completely shameless celebrity who'd go to them and give them the back page, you know, Post and Daily News type stories of, you know, he's cheating on his wife, and you know, Marla Maples is saying it's the best sex she's ever had, which of course she didn't say. He called it.
That's the story I'm talking about. That's like the traveling preacher, because they love hearing what a shitty, mean, cruel businessman, how he'd fire everybody. Yeah, fire, get the fuck out. Like all that shit. How he slept around on his wives, and he's got this new trophy wife, and it is the sexual equivalent of winning the lottery, and so they don't want the government to tax your winnings, so that everybody thinks they're going to win the lottery.
I'll just say, whenever I've made the point to people, and I don't want to go into details about how much corporate media sucks, and I'll get out of here. I don't want to take Tara's time. But whenever I simply say, as of like a decade ago, you to most people, and the second one applies to me too. But I'm like, you believe that Donald Trump was a brilliant businessman, and you believe that Elon Musk was a tech genius, and I believed even the second one because I didn't believe the first one because I had the experience in New York of seeing what a fucking buffoon Donald Trump was growing up there. But all I knew about Elon Musk was what I read from tech press that made its way to mainstream press. Oh, the Tony Stark futuristic. And again, it reminds you, like, they create these bullshit heroes out of not just semi-flawed characters, but out of downright evil, cruel, stupid people. And sell these stories. And if they can do that, then what else can they do? And it just reminds you to not trust any of their bullshit.
Yeah, he has fallen, I think, slipped into, is my point. Now, watch it over the next couple of weeks. He has fallen into, they love these dirty stories about how tough I was and how I told Abdul I was going to blow up his wife and kids. And they love how and so the crueler, the better. And so he's leaning into that, and he's forgetting. He's like, I probably shouldn't say this, but I hated overtime. I would get other people in there or whatever. That's what he's doing. But he's forgetting the part that he hasn't memorized the Bible like these fucking TV preachers have. He doesn't know. He doesn't have enough. It's the same thing with.
He doesn't know the language of "I've found Jesus" and it's all.
That's right.
So
that's right. Yeah. Well, Cliff Schechter, thank you so much, brother. It's always great to talk to you. And I'm sorry I had tech issues and
My pleasure.
And it distracted me for a moment, but I think you understand. And we were still able to crank out quite great content, I just say. And speaking of great content, Cliff's Edge. It's Cliff's_Edge at YouTube. Just put the little @ in there. And Tara just dropped out, and hopefully she will drop back in.
Oh shit! Because I hope I didn't overstay my welcome.
How dare you, sir? It could just be she is in Portland and it is on fire. Wait, while she's popping back in, I want to play the trap thing because I'm sure she's seen this one as well, and I'm sure you have as well. But I want to show this to people. This is where Trump's talking about. He's in Prairie du Chien in Wisconsin, and the French don't even have a word for Prairie du Chien. I just want you to know that. And this is his defense of himself being super smart.
And when I mention that, they go, "Oh, he's fallen into a trap," because he's. But you ever see that? Whenever I criticize, they say, all the stupid people, the anchors back there. No, they say, he fell into a trap, her trap. She can't set a mental trap. There is no. But if she says something wrong, like in the debate, she said something wrong, I question it. She said another thing wrong, I made her look bad. She said another thing. They don't want me to ever question. They said, oh, he fell into a trap. He questioned the fact.
Right.
And when I mentioned that.
So just so you know, and I'll bring Terry in to discuss that as well, but just for the record, motherfucker, just for the record, what he's talking about is the debate or the number of people at his rallies, that part. Because that was the trap. The trap isn't she said something economically wrong or it was 3% instead of 4.2% or some shit like that. It's that people walk out of his rallies, and they fucking do. We are now seeing video all over the place again and again and again.
But do you think he doesn't understand? The last thing I'll say, that it's not an actual metal trap the way he thought asylum for immigrants meant that they were from insane asylums, because he seemed to say like a metal trap. Like he thought he doesn't understand the metaphor.
I think
of
he said
caught
mental.
In a trap. It's like she didn't catch me in a mental. Okay.
I think he says mental trap because he's like, she's not smart enough to do a mental. That's what he means. Because you
could see him not getting that and thinking, I didn't get caught in a metal trap. What are you talking about?
It's no trap. I walked around.
Right.
I got it. So
let me stop stepping on Tara's toes and get the hell out of here.
It's all right. She's
not that I don't love it here.
I don't hear her though. Can you speak for me, Tara? See, I don't see audio coming from you. This is a audio signal. Let's see. I'll request your iPhone microphone, and then we'll refresh the thing.
Hello.
Hey, there it is.
Test 2.
Look at that. All right. Thanks so much, Cliff.
Two.
Hey, take care, guys.
Hey.
Yeah. Peace. See you later. Okay, and then I think I can swap out. Bink. See, does this pop back in? Hold on. It might take a second for it to load. We don't know. Let's see.
Toast. Sibilance.
Sibilance. Hold on.
I am not Dr. Jack
I know
Brown.
you're not. You are absolutely not. You're not Doc Brown. You did not create the continuum transfunctioner, although I totally think you could. You're that smart.
Although within me is my own flux capacitor. Thank you so much.
There you go.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. That's what I'm powered by.
All right. It works for
along
me.
with my giant second cup of coffee. I know you can hear me, but you can't see me. Sad.
3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
Boink. Come on, pop in there. Why won't you? That's why. Because you came back in. I'm using the wrong. That's what it was. Because you went off, and it gives me a different.
Do I have to call back again?
Nope, you're okay. I have to.
Okay.
It just takes a second for me to load the browser source thing for you. And it's being a dick.
I bet the kids in the chat love watching the sausage getting made.
They do.
Guys.
They love it. It's great, especially.
I know they do.
Yeah.
At least you know it's live and it's not a deep fake AI.
That's right.
It's really us really doing this in real time.
Yep. And hold, because we're going to pop off the air and come right back, because it is